like to call this meeting to order. Today is January the 22nd, 2019. Welcome to our regularly scheduled school board meeting. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you all and wish you all a Happy New Year. Again, if you wish to speak during the hearing of citizens, please pick up a card in the back of the room, fill it out and legibly, please, and turn it in to Kathy Tompkins, sitting to my left. At the appropriate time, I'll call you up to speak. Now join me in standing and pledging allegiance to the flag under the guidance of Sarasota County, Sarasota High School's JROTC Color Guard under the direction of Sergeant First Class Pulpus.
Forward, march. March time, march. Color guard, pull. Left, face. Reset, arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Close the verse, march. Color guard, hold. Right, face. Forward, march. Color guard, hold. Right, face. Pose. The colors. Reset, arms. Order, arms. Left, face. Mark time, march. Forward, march.
Today we have some special presentations. To begin with, I'd like to invite Lindsay Canties, coordinator of the Office of Community Involvement, to the podium for the National Mentoring Month proclamation.
Hi, board, and hello, everyone else that's here today. Sarasota County Schools is so excited and proud to celebrate January as National Mentoring Month in conjunction with the Florida Department of Education. This is a nationwide initiative that the Department of Education has taken on, and it's in its 18th year. It's a means of celebrating and promoting the value of mentoring to students in our schools. As you know, our school district is so lucky to have long and meaningful collaborations with several community organizations that provide mentors in our schools. I personally mentor, and I know a lot of administrators and teachers and other people in our school district mentor students as well, and a lot of them go through these organizations, and they do so much for our schools. So it's most fitting that during this month, National Mentor Month, we honor these organizations that recruit, train, place, and support community members who mentor our students. Each agency with whom we collaborate offers a particular approach to their in-school mentoring program, thereby meeting specific needs of our students and offering them a greater chance of success. Each organization, after the proclamation is read, is going to come up and talk a little bit about what their initiatives are and the impact that they make on our students. So through the work of such dedicated leaders, our schools currently have over 400 students being mentored. Today, we are recognizing the community organizations that collaborate with us and with one another to provide mentors to our students and are presenting them with a copy of the proclamation. Board Chair Goodwin, can you please read the proclamation at this time?
Happily. Proclamation in support of National Mentoring Month. Whereas mentors across the United States teach, inspire, and guide young Americans as they reach for their dreams and strive to realize their limitless potential, and whereas mentors help children build confidence, gain knowledge, and develop strength of character, and whereas students with mentors have better attendance in school, higher self-esteem, a greater chance of pursuing higher education, and fewer incidents of risky or unhealthy behavior, and whereas hundreds of neighbors, teachers, community volunteers, and other dedicated individuals in Sarasota County work selflessly through mentoring programs to improve children's odds for success. And whereas our community has a number of organizations that promote and facilitate mentoring, including the Sarasota County School District Volunteer and Partnership Office, Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Suncoast, Girls Incorporated of Sarasota County, Jewish Family and Children's Services of the Suncoast Incorporated, Faces of Accomplishment, and Take Stock in Children of Sarasota County. And whereas January has been designated as National Mentoring Month, in which Americans honors mentors and encourages men and women across the country to become mentors, now therefore be it resolved that the School Board of Sarasota County does hereby proclaim January 2019 as Mentoring Month in Sarasota County and calls on all citizens, businesses, public and private agencies, religious and educational institutions to celebrate the mentoring movement, become a mentor, and inspire a child today.
Thank you. So now I will ask the representatives from each organization to come forward and say a few words and accept their proclamation. First, from Take Stock in Children, Mentoring and Communications Director Mandy O'Malley. There you go, Mandy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I came flying in right at the beginning of the meeting straight from Selby Library, where there was a volunteer recruitment fair. So I was out hunting for more mentors. And I'm always amazed at the generosity of this community, that we had people actually lined up out the door before 10 o'clock for that to start, and the table was full until after 2 with everyone that was talking about how they could get involved in this community. And if not with Take Stock, where else could they volunteer? And that really is what is amazing, is that we have 170 students right now in our program who are doing wonderful things on their way to college, but each one of them is being supported by a mentor who believes in them, who provides consistent support, who's a positive role model, and a voice of encouraging, cheerleading, problem solving along the way to make sure that nothing gets in the way of those dreams becoming a reality. So this opportunity to recognize that efforts is so appreciated, because they really are what's making the difference for these students and making their future much brighter, but they couldn't do that without your help. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mandy. And from Girls Inc. Program Director Jamie Minton. Here's her.
Hi, everyone. It is such an honor to be here today. My name's Jamie, and I'm the Director of Programs at Girls Inc. As you may know, our mission is to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. That mission is partly made possible by the positive adult relationships they build with our staff, but it would be impossible without the support of the community volunteers, mentors, and people like yourself. We're so lucky to live in a community that's blessed with grown-ups who care. Because of the mentors who volunteer at our after-school and summer camp program, we're able to expand our services into the schools of Sarasota County, reaching even more girls and even more families. 2 years ago, through the support of the school board and the school district, we were able to begin providing school-based programming across the county. When we approached schools, we were met with open arms. Instead of seeing us as a group taking away from class time for their students, they saw this as an opportunity to provide girls who need additional support with that support. We quickly became a part of the school's community and saw opportunity to partner outside of the school day. In addition to receiving our research-based interactive curriculum, girls in our school-based programming are able to attend our center at no cost. We worked with school leadership to identify barriers and then quickly worked together to alleviate them. When schools are closed, we provide free transportation to Girls Inc., and all of our services comes free of charge. This includes all meals and all fun. We know that all students need positive mentoring relationships with adults, and we are so proud to be able to partner with the schools to ensure that the girls who need those relationships the most now have access to them. We're so grateful to the school board and to our great schools for not just allowing, but encouraging our expanded services. Because of you, we are able to inspire even more girls to be strong, smart, and bold. Thank you for your belief in our mission and our impact. We look forward to future partnerships and, in turn, future success to our students. Thank you.
From Faces of Accomplishment, Executive Director Kathy Chamberlain.
Big chairs. Or smaller people. Me included. School board members and superintendent, thank you for the opportunity to bring forward the amazing work the mentors do each day in our school in Sarasota County. Faces of Accomplishment is honored to be part of this recognition this afternoon. We have had an amazing year of growth and excitement. We partnered with Booker High School Law Academy to bring trained screen judges and lawyers to be matched with the Booker High School Law Academy students. We were part of Riverview High School's Career Day, which was a great opportunity for students to learn firsthand from area businessmen and women about jobs for post-high school. We are looking forward to this year's program on March 7th. We hosted an unbelievable opportunity for Riverview students to learn etiquette. Community fashion expert Hank Batty came into the freshman classroom and taught students how to tie ties and learn how to properly iron a shirt. The following week, Faces of Accomplishment hosted a lunch at Cafe Bocce with a coach to teach etiquette. Each student dressed properly and learned table manners, which they will take with them long past graduation. We are looking forward to expanding this opportunity to other high school students. And I'd like to take just a sidebar on this experience that Hank Batty could not be in the classroom the whole day, so a couple of Riverview teachers came forward to give their time for the rest of the classes, and it was quite an emotional opportunity. One of the teachers, of course it's a male teacher, talked about how his father taught him how to tie a tie when he was 13, and he talked about him becoming a man. And with that, he broke into tears at the emotion. And with that, the students in the classroom did the same. This is an experience that these kids will take with them forever. It was a moment that they won't forget. In addition to that, through the closed closet at Riverview, the students had ties that they actually learned how to tie, and they could keep the ties with them, which they wore the following week. The end of the school year last year was incredible. The students came forward to offer, in their own words, a testimonial on their mentoring experience. There wasn't a dry eye as the students spoke about how their mentor changed their life. We gave each student a life strategy book to add to their library. Faces of Accomplishment gave their first scholarship last year and are in line to give many more this year and for years to come. I am incredibly blessed to be part of such an amazing program with Faces of Accomplishment Board that is most supportive of students and their needs. Thank you for the chance to be able to come into the schools and provide the mentoring opportunity to change the lives one student at a time. So thank you.
Okay, so next from Jewish Family and Children's Service of the Suncoast, we have President and CEO Heidi Brown. Also here is Chief Client Services Officer Peter Fleischman, Director of Volunteer Services Karen Wayne, and Lead School-Based Program Coordinator Amy Claude.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent, members of the school board, and we especially thank the principals and teachers who allow us to come into the schools to provide mentorship to the students. JFCS is here to help all people by providing mental health and social services. Not only do we work with those in crisis, but we are here to provide long-term solutions. The Mentor program is an example of a cost-efficient way to have a long-term impact. Mentorship matches caring adults with students to build relationships and not only emphasize academic goals, but also focus on personal growth, artistic expression, future planning, goal setting, and social emotional development. Mentoring helps increase the positive relationships students have in their lives while boosting factors that lead to educational success, such as connectedness to the school environment and improved relations with teachers, staff, and improved feelings of academic competence and greater access and use of other supports, such as tutoring and counseling. JFCS is proud to have 29 mentors in 5 schools: Emma Booker, Booker Middle, Booker High, Heron Creek, and McIntosh Middle School. We have 1 super mentor who works with 11 to 13 students per year. Thank you for this recognition. We truly appreciate your partnership.
And last but not least, from Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Suncoast, Vice President of Communications and Marketing, Gina Taylor.
Thank you, Lindsay. Good afternoon. Every one of us has a story to share. Maybe it was a teacher, a neighbor, or even a coach who guided and inspired you. For 50 years, Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Suncoast has been igniting potential in our youth by providing a loving and caring adult in their life. As the country celebrates National Mentoring Month, we would like to take the time to thank those who dedicate their time and talent to mentor a child and affect change in their life. Special thanks to our teachers, our counselors, and administrators who we work diligently with in identifying those students who are in need of a mentor. We appreciate the collaborative efforts and partnership with the school district. As you know, our agency serves a 10-county footprint. 1,000 of the youth in our program are students who attend Sarasota County schools. Thank Your Mentor Day is January 31st. Be sure to reach out and say thank you. You never know when the help and guidance you provide will lift someone toward a life of greatness. Thank you all so much.
Okay, so that's it for the mentor organizations. I did want to do a special mention. We, this year, had a mentoring initiative within the district. It was headed up by Dawn Clayton through Triad, the alternative school, and I just wanted to mention how amazing that program has been. I was a mentor, and it was a wonderful experience. My kid was able to go back to Venice High over December, and it was a really cool experience to, get to know Triad and all the kids that are there, because I know that's a really misunderstood population sometimes. So I just wanted to shout that out, and if you're interested, definitely mentor if within the district as well. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much to you all. I know how much work you do. I know most of your employees or you work directly with my admin assistant, Jennifer, and she speaks so highly of all of you and all of your employees and how wonderful it is to hear from you all. So thank you.
We have some comments. Mrs. Brown?
Yes, well, I think Lindsay said it, yes, the same thing I've heard from so many mentors. As much as they say we give the children, what these students give to the mentors is always appreciated, and they always say they get paid back. But we all understand that children need somebody there telling them you're doing a good job, and you just kind of assume that every kid has that. But for one reason or another, there are some children in our schools that they have no one behind them, pushing them forward and congratulating them and patting them on the back when they do good. And that's why this mentoring program is so good. To have each child should have one person there. I mean, they should have a whole family there behind them telling them they're going. But if we can just give them each one person being there telling them you are doing a good job, you are important. You matter. And you know, I've been a big fan of Girls Incorporated for 30 years now. You know, that telling the girls that they're strong and smart and bold, I mean, over and again. And, you know, they need to hear that. And Kathy, you mentioned that there's a clothes closet for these kids, that they needed ties. And my husband has lost weight, plus he's got an abundance of ties that I give him as a gift and whatnot. And where I have trouble just giving that tie up to somebody that might just throw it in the garbage, I mean, I think I would say, well, yeah, I could give my ties to Kathy if she could take it to the clothes closet. I'm going to go through his closet again and be thinking about that, because again, I think he still has some in the box with the shirt that, you know, that matches, that he no longer wears and fits anymore. So we'll go through that, and I'll walk around the corner and give them to you, neighbor. Thank you. Thank you all so much, and make sure that you tell all of your mentors that we truly, truly appreciate them.
Yeah, some kids just need, you know, a positive role models to model their behavior on. So the difference you guys are making is huge, because like Ms. Brown was saying, you may be the only positive role model in their life. So having somebody available for them to model their behavior is you know, it's going to change their lives. But I do want to also recognize staff. You know, Coach Cantees, I know she does a lot with the kids, and so I mean, it's great that we have staff people who actually walk the walk and talk the talk. So thank you, Coach.
Mrs. Zucker?
First, I'd like to ask, is there any staff here that could take a photograph of this group so that we could place it on our website? Okay. Would you want to line them up, or do you want me to come down and do it?
After we make our comments.
Okay, so don't disappear. Because this should be on our website, because we should recognize all of the help and support that it's necessary for our kids that you give, and who you are. That's really important. Kathy, I've known you for like 20 some odd years, and you have been involved in doing this, first with the Y and now with this group, and you have been dedicated and tenacious in making sure, that's good to be tenacious, and tenacious to make sure that these children are reached and have some help and some support. And I thank you so much, because you have made, single-handedly, you have made a big difference in this community for these students. Gina, I know you just about as long as I know Kathy. You served on the board with us, and thank you again. 1,000 children are served because of your organization. That's just Sarasota. That's phenomenal. And JFCS, I've been part of you for many years. I think I worked there for 15 years in the volunteer department. So I have a special place in my heart for my Jewish family, which I sometimes miss terribly. And take stock in children. I just saw an invitation from you all recently, and I was curious as to maybe I should go, and because I really don't know enough about you, so I was interested in doing that. But again, thank all of you so much for everything that you do for this community and for our kids, because they need it. And some of them, I know a little Oriental girl who goes to Girls Inc., and I've watched her grow over the last 5 or 6 years. And since she's come to your program, she's changed tremendously. She's more outgoing and friendly, and I think she's taking control of herself. I remember her as being 2, painting her toenails in the nail salon. So now you know who I mean. But I've just watched her grow, and it's been wonderful. So again, thank you all. We could not do this without you, and these kids would not be as well off as they are. We were lucky with Girls Inc., Shirley and I. We were both recognized for She Knows Where She's Going. I've never known where I'm going. So I was really surprised to win that award. And thank you, because maybe that helped set me on some kind of a path that I've been on for the last 20 years.
Okay, Mrs. Ziegler.
I'm sorry. That was my favorite quote of the day. Excuse me. Well, I know that there has been a lot of thanks, and I want to echo that. I just thank you to each of your organizations and the mentors that volunteer their time and the impact. I know it was said earlier, but it's a lasting impact. And I think that it's often said that what they get out of it is more rewarding than what even the children get. But I think it's a joint effort, and it's just a testament to this community. But we wouldn't be able to do it without your leadership, and really appreciate everything you do. And I had the word tenacious down too in a positive way, because really getting out there and making sure, making that connectivity is a really challenging part, I think, because people are eager to get involved, and there is a process to get involved. But once you get those two connected, I think it's key and it's life changing. So my hat's off to all of you. Thank you very much. So.
Well, I would just like to make a few comments myself. I know most all of you and your organizations are terrific and wonderful, and we thank you for all that you do for our students and for this community. You know, I've been a mentor with various organizations over the past 20 years of living in this community, and I still have mentees that are working on their doctorate and living in Tampa, and principals, assistant principals of schools, and came from very different backgrounds, but I try to keep in touch with them because it was a very rewarding experience for me. You know, to do something for someone else is a great thing, but you also are doing something for yourself at the same time. And I found mentoring to be one of the most rewarding experiences that I've ever had. You know, I know that, as everyone has alluded, you know, it is so important to do something and recognize a child. But we all think that all children have that recognition or have that support, and they don't. And they don't know how to go to a restaurant and eat properly and other things. We had such a great time at Christmas. I was sitting at a table, and we just had a wonderful address, and we were being served, and a young woman at my table began to eat before the rest of us were served, and it was, you know, we had a fun laugh about that. But it's just you just never know where this will take a child and what will happen with that child later on. But feeling comfortable socially, feeling acceptable by others, and having that confidence that sometimes this instills is a really important thing in life. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank you for being here today. Yes, we do need to recognize you, and we do thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And what we need to do is to say to the people that are out there in the viewing public that will be watching this wonderful school board meeting at 3 in the morning, you only need to commit to an hour a week. Everybody has an hour a week. And I was just with someone yesterday who ran into a former teacher who's now doing other things, and and this person said, you know, I'm going to have Jane call you. You need to get out and do some mentoring or do something with school. So I'll have to pass that along to Lindsay. But I really think that I would just say to our audience, please look at this next year, and everyone will be getting ready for next year shortly. I mean, I can't believe half the year is over. But, you know, consider mentoring a child, considering spending some time with a child who needs recognition. And that can be on the elementary, the middle, or the high school level, whichever you feel best about, and whatever's most convenient, and whatever school is most convenient for you. So I would say please consider it, because it's something that really has volumes of payback for us. So thank you all very much. And I think now we'll get a picture. So please come up to the front. Should we go in? Please. We'll put you right in the middle.
Water breaks, you need help?
We'll put her right in the middle.
It's going on.
See? I was waiting for you to say, good. You are.
Good job, Coach.
I don't think it's fair.
Yeah, we can take the break.
You've seen my pictures
It's just like you've got
Thanks, man. Thank you.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would.
The next part of our recognition is to talk about this week, which is National School Choice Week. Dr. Roca, would you like to come up and start this?
I just asked you not to call me up, but that's okay.
Who's your favorite male board member?
Good afternoon, everyone. School board members, Board Chair Ms. Goodwin, Mr. Hardy, Superintendent Dr. Bowden. On the agenda to this part of the special presentation, even though I'm not presenting, I'm here for support should you need some numbers. This is National School Choice Week, correct? And I believe we have a video to showcase one of our choices that we offer parents for Pineview. And if you want some numbers just to get started, as you know, we had our 2 charter schools here this morning, and we do have about over 17,000 students are attending a school other than their districted school. Most of them are with charter schools. About 14 to 15% attend our charter schools. And another good portion are attending a school through the school choice process, our controlled open enrollment, which begins in a couple of weeks, right after the showcase is this evening. And of course, we have other reasons where parents choose or request a different choice, different school other than the ones that they're supposed to be going to. So that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me. I'm just here to say that we are very proactive when it comes to school choice. We have our school choice office, a choice office of 2 people, but we always want to make our parents as happy as possible. And we believe that they do have a right to make the best choices for their students, and we're here to support them in that capacity. And we work well with our schools, receiving schools, sending schools, to accommodate them as best as we can and to make that transition smooth. Of course, we also have quite a large population of students who participate in homeschool. So they register with us. That's why we know how many. And let me see how many. Over about 1,200 students are in homeschool programs, and most of those take advantage of virtual school courses to deliver their courses at the school site, at the home site. Excuse me. And Katrina owes me for not having to come up here. I did freak her out and told her, "You ready for the presentation?" And then you could hear her scream across the courtyard. But I do that because I'm a nice boss. So anyway, any questions? Is the video going to show? Yes?
Let's start the video, please.
Poof.
The video was something that I did in a very impromptu fashion because we were asked from across the state to send some of our school choice opportunities about our district to Tallahassee to incorporate into a larger video. So this is how it happened, and Katie and I went out to Pineview and we talked.
We don't have it prepared for today. I apologize. We don't have it available right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm probably partly responsible for that as well. But thanks for being accountable for that. So, but I do believe we have a proclamation to
I do have a proclamation, yes, to read. Proclamation in support of National School Choice Week. Whereas all children in Sarasota County should have access to the high-quality education possible, and whereas Sarasota County recognizes the important role that an effective education plays in preparing all students in Sarasota County to be successful adults, and whereas quality education is critically important to the economic viability of Sarasota County, and whereas Sarasota County is home to a multitude of excellent educational options from which parents can choose for their children, and whereas educational variety not only helps to diversify our economy, but also enhances the vibrancy of our community, and whereas our area has many high-quality teaching professionals who are committed to educating our children, and whereas School Choice Week is celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, and organizations to raise awareness of the need for effective educational options. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Sarasota County does hereby proclaim January the 20th through 26th, 2019 as School Choice Week in Sarasota County and call this observance to the attention of all of our citizens. And along those same lines, Katrina Ward, would you like to say anything about this? We have received a, do you want to come up, or? We have received a National School Choice Week Leadership Award for 2019. Way to go, Katrina.
Tell us about it, Ms. Ward.
I was hoping not to make it this far.
I thought you needed to come up.
Good evening, Superintendent. Good afternoon, and esteemed board members, Mr. Hardy. So the Office of School Choice was awarded a leadership certificate from the National School Choice Week organization, and it is a result of the many different parental choices that we provide for our families and students. So I'm very proud to acknowledge that we were observed this year by that organization.
Yes, and this says, in recognition of tireless dedication toward providing all children with access to effective education options and for participation in National School Choice Week 2019, which is wonderful. I would say that Katrina's busiest season will be starting shortly.
Yeah.
When does the choice options start? February?
So the school choice open enrollment cycle will begin on February 4th and will go through March 4th, 2019.
So people will apply at that point in time, and then those will be closed. So we're not expecting someone to all of a sudden wake up in July and say, oops.
I'm hoping
As I always have parents that get in touch with me in July or August and say, oops, I
It will happen, and we will take care of those families as well.
So you will then award those options after seeing how the enrollment will be for the next year, correct? For that particular school that is being considered.
Yes, ma'am. So at this point, we do have all of our schools that are open to school choice posted on our district website, along with the number of seats that will be awarded at each of the schools. So then during the month of April, we will be notifying the families who have actually received this school choice assignment, as well as those families who have been placed on our wait list.
Okay, so you will recognize some, and they will be enrolled in that school per your assignment.
Yes.
And others will be waitlisted.
They will be placed on the wait list of their first school choice.
Okay, that gives us some indications in case we get questions about that, and we always do, don't we? That it's April is the magic date.
Yes, ma'am. April, I believe it's April 16th.
But everyone will hear from you that has requested.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
they will either be enrolled or waitlisted if they have done it appropriately through the month of February into the beginning of March.
Yes, ma'am. They will be notified, and then they will have the opportunity to accept their assignment, or they can decline it. Some of the parents will go into the very school that they selected as their number one choice. They'll end up maybe going into one of the magnet programs at the high school level. So if they do, then they'll give up their school choice seat, and I can go to the wait list and award the next seat to that student on the wait list.
Great. Mrs. Ziegler, you have some comments?
Sorry, I was like sitting there listening. Well, well-deserved recognition. I always like to brag about our county when I'm at any statewide or beyond, that Sarasota County has long embraced choice, and choice is not just charter schools. I think it's important to recognize magnet schools and homeschooling, and also outside of zones, and that does require a lot of behind-the-scenes work, which is a mighty powerful team of two. And I want to make sure everyone realizes that the office of school choice is not this huge back office that people may examine, that you do a lot of work, and I appreciate it. And I understand the passion with families wanting to know, but there is a process in place, but you guys do a really good job, and I do applaud you for that. And I want to thank Chair Goodwin and Dr. Bowden for recognizing School Choice Week this week. And also, I think this morning at our workshop was a testament, and then again, to how Sarasota County really embraces the various options and trying to find the best, exposure and opportunities for our students, and working with our charter school partners, not just saying, we approve a charter and the best of luck. I think we really do work. And again, that is that's a testament to the work you guys do. And finally is something that I know is addressed, but we have I don't think I'm going to call it right, school fair, Showcase. School Choice Showcase, which in the past had only been exclusively for district managed schools, and Dr. Bowden had embraced that with allowing it to be broader.
It didn't exist in the past.
Okay, well then.
Included charters since its inception.
Got it. So I know that there was a lot of requests from, maybe it was more the marketing side then, that from some of our charter schools, but I appreciate it because this gives the community opportunity to really understand all the choices. So again, thank you very much. Thank you for all the work you guys do. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you. And that ends our special presentations. Next, we have Dr. Bowden. Your report, please. No, we're not doing that.
No, the athlete was unavailable this evening.
Postponed.
Well, I had a note here to showcase our showcase this evening at Suncoast Technical College will be for North County schools. Tomorrow night at the Northport Suncoast Technical College will be our South County schools. The event starts at 5:30. And just want to recognize all the work that you've mentioned that goes into school choice. I have an 8th grader, as I mentioned this morning, and long gone are the days where you call the district office, you give them your address, and they give you a school assignment for the following year. But we, as other families have done, have evaluated our options. And I have to tell you how impressed I am seeing it from a parent's perspective. My son made a decision to apply for the IB program at Riverview High School. He hit send on his application at 8 p.m. on Sunday night, and at 10 a.m. the following morning, he received an acceptance. We were shocked at the turnaround. I called and said, is that just the service that you give the superintendent's kid? And they assured me that that is the level of service they give all of our families. As a matter of fact, they said by the time he had applied that there were 50 other kids who had already been accepted into the program. And so we're excited as a family to exercise our rights to choose the program that's best for our son. So we'll have one Sarasota Sailor and we'll have one Riverview Ram in our home. So you can't get any more politically correct than that, can you? That completes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. And next we have our hearing of citizens. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. When the timer flashes yellow, that means that 1 minute remains, and you need to begin to summarize. You must stop speaking when the buzzer rings. Please note that respect for divergent viewpoints and civility will be shown at every board meeting. I have 2 cards, and the first one is Jen Buck.
Good morning, board. My name's Jen Buck, and my son Cooper is a student over at Lakeview Elementary. Go Lancers. I'm really excited this year. I got asked to participate on the SAC committee, and I was really pleased that our SIP plan this year involved creating a wellness committee at the school. So we're focusing on health and nutrition and wellness for our students. And I thought, what an exciting challenge. And then a couple months in, I'm thinking, whoa, I think we need some help on this. It's a little tougher than I thought. So I'm here to ask you to throw on your superhero capes and help us with one of the biggest issues I think that we have in our schools, and that is sugar. I think we need your help in developing some guidelines for the sugar consumption of our students in the Sarasota County schools. I have a couple quick stats, but I have specifics on the plan that I think would be really helpful. A couple of the stats, the American Heart Association guidelines recommend that children only have 25 grams of added sugar daily and no more than 8 ounces weekly of sugar-sweetened drinks. So my husband and I went to have lunch with our son the other day, and 90% of the students had one of these, a chocolate milk, and this sugary juice. Okay, so this is 22 grams of sugar, and this is 22 grams of sugar. And that doesn't account for if they had a cookie, or if they were at school for breakfast that morning, or if they had cupcakes in the classroom, which is pretty usual thing. So what I'm hoping for is that we can just reel this back in just a little bit and get realistic consumption of the sugar. So some specific things that I think would be really helpful are on the NutriSlice. We need to have the sugar content listed. Families go there and they can't make educated decisions about what their children should be eating because there's no sugar content on any of the food on our school menu. All the other nutritional content is there, but that's somehow missing. The other thing is the software that we have that parents can go in and request that their children can't have chocolate milk, and this is tested, I won't say by Cooper Buck, but we did go in and request that he could not have chocolate milk, and later found in a survey of his cafeteria meal history that he was certainly still getting the chocolate milk. So I think that is a little bit antiquated. When people sign on their My School Bucks, they should be able to say, I don't want my kid having chocolate milk or cookies. I would never give my kid this at home. That's just not something that's part of our diet. So that would be really helpful. So rethinking some of these nutritional offerings. And then the final thing I think is empowering our teachers to offer non-food rewards for birthdays, for get-togethers. I know in our school, which I love, and we have a great PTO and awesome parents, and I love everything about it, but every get-together we have is a popsicle party, a sundae party, cookies and cupcakes, and like we're a very forward-thinking community in Sarasota County, and I don't think I need to sit here and say why consuming so much sugar is wrong. Okay, thank you very much.
And next up, we have Jeffrey Buck.
Good afternoon, board. I love coming here. I don't know why. You're the smartest people I know, and you have to listen to me, so I appreciate it. And now I have to follow my lovely wife. That's going to be difficult, but it was funny. Last time I was here, I think my performance wasn't great. I dipped into politics a little bit, and when we lived in South America, the first word my wife taught me in Spanish was lo siento, which is I'm sorry. So lo siento, right? And I'm also here to talk to you about sugar, okay? And so what I'm requesting, okay, is I'm requesting that the board sets up guidelines for the schools to follow. You're the only ones that are going to make this happen. I'm also a member of our wonderful Lakeview SAC committee, and our principal is amazing, and she's so supportive. And we went through and we researched it, and we had all these meetings, and we talked to people, and when we started talking about eliminating sugar, people just, they won't look at us in the eye because we're all afraid to get on that scale and confront ourselves, okay? I was watching some video of myself, and I'm like, oh my God, I was doing some training, some martial arts training. I'm nothing to be afraid of, and I was trying to jump up off the ground, and I could barely get up off the ground. I'm like, what is the problem? And I was 45 extra pounds was the problem. And you know what I cut out? Sugar and carbohydrates. And you know what I don't weigh? 45 extra pounds. It's amazing. It's sugar, my friends. When I grew up, nobody was overweight. And you can't say that now. And it's like, I feel like these are my people, these are your people. And if we don't do something, if you don't do something, our kids are going to get sick and unhealthy, and they're going to have problems. So at Lakeview, which I think is probably the best, now they're all great schools, don't get me wrong, but has the best test scores of all the schools. But and they're like, the pressure on Mrs. Wheatley is like, oh, I got to do better, I got to do more. What can I do? Cut out the sugar, okay? These kids are getting 5 times the amount of sugar every day on average, up to that much extra sugar. Well, we all know what sugar does to kids. You give kids 100 grams of sugar, they're eating 100, 120 grams of sugar a day. What's that do to their concentration? What's that do to our test scores? You have all these amazing folks that come in here and they have these mentor programs and all these reading programs and all these things, and yet we shoot ourselves in the foot by giving these kids all these sugar, okay? They don't need it. They don't need chocolate milk, the water, right? Taxpayers don't need to pay for chocolate milk. I don't get chocolate milk, and so I'm asking, I'm requesting, I'm begging that you set up a set of guidelines that these schools can follow, because they can't do it on their own. The principal's not going to say no more cupcakes. The teachers are going to say no more cupcakes, and the parents aren't going to say it. None of them are able to say it. The only people that can do it is you guys. You have the power, and it'll make a huge impact. We all know it'll make a huge impact. I was saying to Dr. Bowden, I go, man, you're a good-looking man. I go, you're a good-looking man. I bet I could help you. Right? I'm going to end on that. You're a darn good-looking man.
And there we go.
Thank you.
And there we go.
All right. Thank you, folks. I appreciate it.
I hope we have that recorded somewhere.
Eric?
Yeah, I just want to make sure the people know that the people out there know this, that Dr. Gerard has made a conscious effort, and I've actually had numerous heated discussions with her about it, that she has been diligent about reducing the sugar content of milk, but she also has to balance it with making sure the kids, take the milk to get the calcium. She has a registered dietitian. She has a doctorate in food and nutrition. She is, as good looking as Mr. Bowden is, she's as diligent in making sure, probably more so, no offense, she is diligent in making sure that we have healthy food, farm to table. She makes it her passion to make sure that we have healthy meals at the schools. So there's a variety of options, making sure the kids get vegetables. She doesn't let kids just get, the nuggets. She's going to make sure that the kids get the vegetables. And there is sugar in that chocolate milk, but I assure you, it's a lot less sugar than it was in the past, and that's a direct result of Dr. Gerard, and we've had spirited discussions, and I'll leave it at that.
Mrs. Brown?
Yeah, I remember when we had soda machines on the campus. And now I'm not going to speak to whether or not this guy's good looking or not, but I want to take...
I think that point has been settled.
I'm going to take your point seriously, and I think we as a board need to take it seriously. And I am addressing this directly to our assistant.
Oh, no, don't.
And please stop bringing this candy. I've eaten 4 pieces of this already, and I never would have eaten this had you not brought this. It is entirely your fault. And quit bringing this candy to our meetings. Seriously.
Well, I would just say, as well as Mr. Robinson and Mrs. Brown, that our head of food and nutrition it really has reformulated the milk with the dairy to make it less sugar oriented. But you're right, milk itself is pretty sugary, I know, to say the least. But we certainly believe that we can always do better, and we'll carry this forward to her, because she does have 4 or 5 nutritionists that work, and she does have best practices and has one of the best programs in the country in terms of food and nutrition. So let's try to get some of the sugar. I know we've gotten Cokes out and desserts, and we serve fresh fruits and vegetables now. I've served lunch a few times, and I've never seen so many options for students to eat.
Healthy options.
And healthy options, yeah. But 4 or 5 different selections. When I was in school, which was back in the Civil War, they slapped a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on your plate and said you're lucky to have it. So I think that's changed quite a bit. Mrs. Zucker.
I just wanted to say that I've served on the lines for the students coming through and picking up their own food. There's no way that you can monitor what a child takes as he's coming through the line. I think that more responsibility has to be put on the parent to say, don't take that chocolate milk. It seems that we are now becoming the mothers, the fathers, the nurses, and the aides to all of the kids. And as Mrs. Sigler said this morning, how much more do we take on? Where should we end? And I agree, we have a great food and nutrition department, and Mrs. Gerard really makes sure that we have balanced meals. So I think that some onus has to be put on the parents as well.
Thank you. And that ends our hearing of citizens. We move on to additions and corrections to the agenda. Dr. Bowden, do we have any corrections?
Yes, item 7, the approval of the instructional classified personnel report. There was an addendum added after the agenda was published.
Do I have a motion?
Move approval of the consent agenda with the addition of item number 7.
Second?
Second. Oh, did you? I didn't know that was a question.
Any questions or discussion? Please vote.
This is not working.
Is it the construction?
Yeah, you have to press NA.
This is the
NA?
old, yep, it's a new box, but this is the old system, so
Aye.
it should work.
That's fine.
Did yours work?
Yeah, you have to hit NA first.
You have to hit in.
Not applicable.
Did it work?
We're one meeting away from a new system.
Okay, so let's take a verbal vote.
Aye. Oh, sorry.
No, you don't have it yet.
We could be done.
Go ahead.
All those in favor.
All those in favor.
Okay.
I did.
It worked.
I
The
did.
vote results are, the ayes have it, ayes carry 5-0.
Yeah.
The item passes.
I did twice.
With 6 abstaining.
We have no
recount.
new business. We have nothing pulled for comment. Do we have any announcements or communications? We have our next board policy review work session is Tuesday, February the 5th at 4 o'clock. And following that at 6:30, we have our regular board meeting. We're adjourned.
Yay! One more meeting until we have a good, new, updated system.
Oh, that's till you give birth.
No, 2 more meetings.
2 more meetings?
You think?
2 more meetings.